news at townhall.com. The latest SpaceX Starship demo went well.
A successful launch of SpaceX's mega rocket Starship from the company's launch site in South Texas Tuesday evening.
Space separation.
It deployed a test payload for the first time, 8 dummy satellites.
Engine cut off.
Spent about an hour coasting through space,
Successful ship engine cut off.
then splashed down in the Indian Ocean as planned.
They're on that same trajectory towards the Indian Ocean.
It was the 10th demo test for the world's biggest and most powerful rocket. It also included the successful return of the craft's booster, which splashed down in the Atlantic. SpaceX hopes to use Starship for future Moon and Mars missions. I'm Ben Thomas.
The college football season begins in earnest this week with a full slate of games. None is bigger than number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State on Saturday. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
Depending on your source, suicide is either the second or third leading cause of death for teenagers. The percentage has been dropping, but stats mean nothing if it is your child. What leads teens to suicide? No one specific issue. Obviously, emotional trauma of some type. The parents of a 16-year-old are blaming OpenAI for their son's death. In the lawsuit, they say there's evidence their son was chatting with AI about family issues, and that chat AI became their son's suicide coach, that months before he took his life, he wrote 2 suicide notes, not to his parents, but his AI companion. While not acknowledging guilt, the company states it is updating safety measures. The mother of the 16-year-old said, "Your chat box character sees the noose, sees all of these things, and doesn't do anything." Your heart is broken, isn't it? But a note to my listeners: watch your children. Be alert for warning signs. Get them proper care immediately.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
In all these years that Wellington Environmental has been my sponsor, I've never mentioned their duct cleaning services. Allergy season is here, and Wellington crews clean air ducts daily in homes and commercial buildings, also cleaning air handling units and diffusers in commercial facilities. Why? Well, because people will see black dirt and mold on the vents, or they are actually suffering from allergies. Don't be fooled by low-cost duct cleaning providers saying they charge only per vent, because once they get on site, the price will skyrocket. Wellington does not do this, never has. Wellington will give you an estimate, and you say Larry Connors, and immediately you get a 20% discount. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 314-644-4930. Make your home and business better, safer with Wellington. Be well with Wellington.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride ride to the ridge where the rest commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Set me off for a
Well, good
ride
afternoon,
on a
everyone, and a happy, delightful Wednesday to all of you and yours. And, of course, we are going to be following the situation regarding the shooting in Minneapolis at the Catholic school. And interestingly enough, we know a lot about what happened. We know so much. We've given so much information that we know that the shooting occurred during the responsorial psalm, which usually comes after the first and second readings. And then you have the responsorial psalm, and then you have the gospel. So they know even when the shooting occurred, like at what moment in the mass the shooting occurred. But you know what's interesting is we don't know anything about the shooter. Not one little thing about the shooter, even though they know everything about the shooter. And you know they do. And for some people, which I'm surprised, I know the FBI is kind of involved in this, so I'm a little surprised they haven't yet got some of the information out, considering that Cash is the head of it. But let me see. If I didn't know any better, 1 second here. Let me get Jimmy. Yeah. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good.
I'm sorry, I got the time wrong. So you're on at 1, right?
Yeah, I'm free now, though, if you want to do it now.
Okay, sure. Well, then we'll go ahead and give you a call then. I'd love to talk to you right off the bat here.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's great. That is the great Jim Carafano. We got our wires crossed over Central and Eastern time. So anyway, we know everything so far about all the circumstances, but if I didn't know any better, I know what's going on here. They're not even telling us the race of the guy. I know what's going on here. You know, first of all, the Democrat Party and the left and the news media, they're right now trying to figure out how they're going to make this guy their next folk hero, because, you know, he is going to be a hero when all this is said and done. The 2 kids who were murdered, they're not going to be heroes. They're not even going to be victims. We know how this is all going to go down. And usually when they're not telling you a whole lot, that means they're trying to figure out a way to gloss it over. And then the last thing I'll bring you before I get to Jim Carafano to update you, I just want to give you a quote from State Senator Zainab Mohammed. State Senator Zainab Mohammed represents the area where the shooting occurred. Said in the statement, "Our beautiful South Side." You mean our beautiful children or the church, you mean? No, it's just our beautiful South Side. Boy, what an inconvenience that you had a shooting in your beautiful South Side, buddy, huh? Was struck with horrifying gun violence this morning. So that's the other thing, because apparently the rifle just kind of teleported itself and floated in midair and shot through the windows of a Catholic church and killed 2 children. But I know Senator Mohammed is very concerned about the impact on his beautiful South Side and the fact that this gun acted alone. We'll follow up on this because you know where this is going. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Jim Carafano, who, if I think I remember the fact that you, so cute sometimes, even with your wife. You guys, you take the bus to work sometimes in Washington, D.C. When I was up there with you a long time ago, you were walking to your house practically, or at least taking the bus, whatever. And so I'm sure that you're one of those Washingtonians who's actually happy that Donald Trump and the National Guard is there, correct?
Well, I spend most of my time on the road, so I'm never in Washington D.C. So people ask me, well, do you feel more safe? It's like, well, I don't know. I'd have to actually be there to know if I was safe or not. But what I got to tell you, what I think is amazing about this is because somebody said this on Fox News the other day that the problem that them have is everything is swinging whatever Trump throws, it's a swing and a miss, right? That they have to swing at every ball regardless, just because they hate him so much. But so that they're either saying, we don't have a crime problem, which you just look at the stats on these cities and, that's a lie. Or they say, well, this isn't the most efficient way, and what Trump is doing, much like he's done on foreign policy in dealing with the Middle East or even Ukraine, is he is putting the lie to the test. He is demonstrating to people whose answer was to defund the police that, look, if you put police on the ground in a neighborhood and you enforce the laws, crime will go down. The community will be better. People will want to invest in the community. They will want to live in the community. They will want to come to the community.
Right.
And now these guys are basically and he doesn't have to force himself on Chicago or these other places. He can just say, this worked. And I think what we're going to see is people in Chicago and other towns go into the streets and say, well, why can't we get some of this? Why can't we have safe neighborhoods? Just like I'm seeing in Europe and other places around the world, so many people going to the government and said, hey, this Trump guy, he's got secure borders, he's kicking out illegal immigrants, he's growing the economy, he's making their city safe. Why can't we get some of that to their leaders? And so I just think what the president has done is, all right, it might not be the cheapest thing in the world to deploy the National Guard in city streets, but what he's showing is if you adopt sensible policies, you will get sensible outcomes.
Yeah, no question about it. Hey, Jimmy, I want to indulge you for a second because I'd like to call you back because we have kind of a little cattywampus connection with your phone.
Okay,
so
great.
We're going to call you back in like 1 minute.
Okay, great.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we now pause for a short moment while we call Jim Carafano back from the Heritage Foundation. Thank you so much for your patience as we traverse technical difficulties here at the Allman Report on News Talk STL. It'll be time for your enjoyment. How about a little hold music? There you go. That's exactly, you're right. Yeah, it does sound like Under My Thumb. Because it is. And now we're back with Jim Carafano from the Heritage Foundation. Jimmy, thank you, buddy. Appreciate your indulgence there. So I'm wondering, this is really interesting because I saw this little bit, and this is kind of, you probably saw this from a mile away. So a couple of these girls in Scotland who are coming home from school or whatever, they have machetes and knives. I mean, they're like 12-year-old girls, maybe even 10, because of the attacks at the hands of these migrants there. It's crazy.
It is, and like I said, I think this is what we're going to see is the global Trump effect, and I'm seeing it happen in real time. As I travel around the world, is people look in their communities and they see whether it's illegal immigration or the lack of jobs or the lack of security or not secure borders and they go like, if Donald Trump can fix this in the United States, why can't you yahoos fix it in our country? And remember the story of the left, whether you're living in Ireland or Detroit or Chicago or Venezuela is always the same. These are insolvable problems. Because if they could be done, fix them, we would have fixed them, but they're insolvable problems. And the only way we can survive, and the only way you can survive, is if you give us more power, more authority, and more responsibility over your life.
Yeah.
And what Donald Trump has shown, no, that's a lie. They're just taking control of your life to enrich themselves and become more powerful. And you're actually, things are going to get worse. It's like, it's the political Ponzi scheme. The more you give to them, the less good you're going to be, unless you become one of them, and then you get on the payroll. You're on George Soros's payroll. Otherwise, your life's just going to continue to get more miserable.
So it's interesting, though, Jim, since your travels, you can tell. I mean, there was a difference. So you've got Scotland, you've got Ireland, you've got Germany, to some degree France, although it seemingly has tamed some of that problem. But you notice that Hungary, Italy, some of these other countries are somehow unaffected by most of this. And I'm trying to figure out what the exact difference is from your point of view.
Well, obviously they have more conservative governments, which take issues of national sovereignty and delivering for the people and more seriously. And this is the shift. And in many ways, it is, it's so maddeningly simple, which is listen to your vote. It's like the whole Cracker Barrel thing. Listen to your customers, listen to your voters. And if you really truly say, well, my goal in life is to deliver for the people who have given me power and authority to do stuff, then listen to them and respond to that. It may not be necessarily do exactly everything they say. Donald Trump doesn't do everything everybody says. Sometimes he comes up with even better ideas, but he listens to them and he goes deeper than understands what the problem is. And then the other thing is if you're going to put a solution on the table, it actually has to solve the problem. And that's the magic formula of Trumpism.
Yeah, that's it's crazy. And this Cracker Barrel thing is just so hilarious. But anyway, so one more thing then, Jim, before we get away. This 600,000 Chinese students now that are going to be allowed into U.S. universities, I know this kind of happened kind of fast, but what's your initial take on that?
Well, I think, to be fair, I have some concerns. We know that the Chinese have used students to spy. We know they have oppressed them politically. We know that they've handed this out as a privilege to come to the U.S. to study because to empower the elites. We know that they've, stolen us, taken people back, and they're working on projects to harm the U.S. And we have lots of concerns about the way they've spread their influence through the university system. I think before I'd want to talk about what the right number of Chinese students is, I would like to see the systemic problems solved, that we are making sure that people are coming here just not because they're privileged by the Chinese government or because they're buying influence, or they're subjected to political control from the Chinese. So I think there's a whole range of issues that I would feel much more comfortable about talking about numbers if we'd actually had shown that all the systems that are supposed to be in place to protect our country and our educational systems from being exploited and infiltrated and corrupted by malicious actors like the Chinese. I don't have that level of confidence.
Yeah, it's really a little bit confusing to me. It just seems like it's out of the blue, and I can't figure out what the motivation behind this is, or who was the one kind of influencing this with President Trump or what have you. I mean, just even the mere fact that you can still count on your hands the number of people who've been busted stealing biomaterials, taking them back and forth and things like that. It just seems to me, and all this stuff going on at Michigan, which is already known as being the a Chinese university, practically, or University of Michigan up there. So I don't know. I don't see this as a positive thing, and I'm willing to hear President Trump out on that and see. But man, initially I'm thinking that's not a good idea.
I like a lot of things. When you hear something and it doesn't quite make sense, I think you have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've heard the last on this issue in the U.S. government, and I think we're a long way from this issue being resolved. And furthermore, I think the argument, we're dependent on the Chinese to fund these universities. Look, I think if an American university can't sustain itself with American students, why are they in business? Why are you even there?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're so dependent on foreign students to stay afloat, then there's something wrong. I think.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, it's not, and they're not just students. We're not talking about foreign students. We're talking about Chinese students, which are weaponized, just like the kids in the movie. Weapons.
Yeah.
They're weaponized. They're weaponized against the United States. You cannot say the risk of 600,000 people that can be potentially weaponized coming into this country is worth the price of propping up universities that are teaching basket weaving anyway. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah, and hopefully they won't be taking seats away from American students. I just don't. I don't think President Trump would do something like that. So again, I'm with you on that. I'm willing to wait and see what's going on, because sometimes things that are really kind of weird are in the end easily explainable after you've watched them play out. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway,
and sometimes Trump floats something, and then
people
say, well, there's another side to that. And the great thing, I think you got a second. It's a really short story, but I went the guy that was the president's chief of staff, and who got fired, but then people asked him, I said, well, what are you most proud of? Because we talked the president out of a lot of stupid stuff. And part of my answer was, oh, good for you that you were honest with the president about things. But also, isn't that good for the president of the United States that you disagree with him, he listened to you, and if you made a good argument that made sense, he said, okay, we're not going to do that. I mean, isn't that something that you should be worthy of respect for your boss?
Yeah.
So I think Trump will do the right thing in the end.
Yeah,
because he has consistently hit that spot on every other issue, and I think he'll probably hit it on this one too. But if you're just saying, should we have 600,000 foreign students from China in the United States with the current systems that we have to monitor and control all that stuff? And my answer would be no.
Yeah, all these people call him an authoritarian and egomaniac, and all of his actions indicate the complete opposite, even to the point where he shared the stage with all those European leaders when Zelensky came to town, or he'll have a televised cabinet meeting and every 3 hours,
right?
And everybody gets a chance to speak and all this stuff. It's crazy.
And then the left, they go off and they have this big conference to talk about why they're failing, and their conclusion is we've been too easy on Donald Trump.
Yeah,
it's just crazy, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, Jimmy, thank you. Happy holiday weekend to you, and certainly appreciate your time, brother.
It is a holiday weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Labor Day.
Yeah. I promise not to labor on Labor Day.
Right
Thanks
on.
for calling, man.
Hey,
catching up.
I love talking to you, and I'm so glad I know you're traveling so much, and thank you also for some of the tip-offs to some of the other folks we've had on from Heritage. So certainly appreciate that too, brother.
All
right, Jimmy. Later. That is Jim Carafano, people. So we are back in action. Jimmy mentioned Cracker Barrel. I told you yesterday they need to listen to the Mr. Brand King Donald Trump, and they did. It was minutes after he said it on Truth Social. But there's one food chain that is taking advantage of the Cracker Barrel thing, and they probably need to kind of sit this one out. I'll follow up on that. And plus, you guys have to hear about this dude who is putting together a secret Trump hating club for aging Americans. It's kind of like their, I think I got anti-Trump cocoon. That's what it is. We'll also continue to keep you updated on what's happening there in Minneapolis with the shootings of these children at the church mass and the continued stonewalling over in just who the shooter is. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
You guys know how important it is to make sure that when you are in retirement, and I know, you're not going to want to spend your time in the anti-Trump club, right? You're going to spend your time traveling. You're going to spend your time enjoying being a person of leisure in your later days. You're going to be enjoying your own personal golden age. But the one way you definitely want to make sure you can do that is by hooking up with the Gemini Wealth Group and Jeff Portman, who you can call directly at 314-888-0123. This is where you're going to get a real good idea of how you need to plan for your retirement. So let's just say you're 55. I mean, even 50 for that matter, depending on when you're going to retire. And you want to just make sure, hey, I want to make sure I'm putting enough in. I want to make sure I'm making the right decisions in terms of all the investments and things like that, where the money's going. It's not only about diversification. It's about targeting where your investment is going. And Jeff and the gang can help you do that because they're hugely knowledgeable. You also have to calculate, like, what's going to happen with me, with my healthcare or even my housing or whatever. The last thing you want to be doing is rooting through your couch for extra change when you're 20 years into your retirement. The Gemini Wealth Group can help you get past all that and get to it. The GeminiWealthGroup.com or Jeff Portman directly at 314-888-0123.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Are uneven concrete surfaces causing you headaches? Polytime Concrete Leveling and Restoration has the solution. We're a veteran and family-owned business offering long-lasting solutions for all your concrete problems. From precision concrete leveling to our superior restoration services, our precision polyjacking outperforms traditional mudjacking any day. Call Polytime at 636-487-3282 for a free estimate or visit itspolytime.com. Mention Newstalk SDL and get $125 off any job of $600 or more, or 10% off your service.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
You know what's going on?
Have a great awakening.
You see through the smoke screen.
It's cool to be woke.
News Talk STL.
Until it's not.
News, analysis, opinion.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. I'm loving this bossa. I got the bossa in roses and bossa in stones. It's just these remixes of these songs. Good stuff. Nick Schroer's going to be joining me about 1 o'clock. I've got some questions. I heard Tim Jones and Christopher Arps did a really good interview with Catherine Hanaway. And it was an interesting interview. Well, eventually I'll talk to her too, but they did a good job with it. And I'm not, they answer the tough questions about the the cases she's been on with the glyphosate and the Roundup, and then this other thing with the electrical lines or whatever. And I'm not as concerned about that because, she was a hired attorney. And I mean, when you're working for a silk stocking law firm and they pay you a lot of money to represent clients, you represent the clients. I think that just so many big shoes to fill for her, and just kind of want to make sure that she's got the same kind of energy that Holly Schmidt and all the other guys did, Andrew Bailey. And I just want to make sure we're not going back to 1995. Republicans were all great then and everything else, but it's the 1995 Republican is gone. So, or at least that's what we're hoping for. So anyway, I'll talk to Nick about that. Let me tell you something. You talk about the media, and by the way, I'm not among those mocking the Taylor Swift thing. I mean, I get it. She's a very influential figure in the music world, and I don't really understand the hatred towards her that people convey, or the mockery or whatever, of somebody who's 100 times more successful than half the people who are making fun of her. And I don't know. I don't really understand it. I'm not really, I get it. She's liberal. So what? I remember when she was she was registering voters at her concerts. And I heard some conservatives like, she's registering voters at her concerts. It's like, yeah, we should be doing that too. So let's find a concert where we can, with somebody who's, I don't know, Brooks and Dunn. I don't care, and register voters there. Why sit there and, it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. And by the way, again, you're talking about somebody who is a hugely successful musician and business person. I mean, I would want my daughters. I would be glad if my daughters were like her any day of the week in terms of her success and her ability and everything else. I'd take that any day. So, but then there is a time when it's just a little much, especially when you're talking about a CBS White House correspondent. All right. You talk about the level of unseriousness you get with some of the network news people. And this woman is, her name is Olivia Rinaldi. She's standing outside of the White House, covering the White House for CBS News. And this is what happens.
Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Come back to me. She just posted it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The worst part of it is listening to her use the Lord's name in vain over and over again. But really, come on.
Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous. This is so exciting. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. Oh my God. 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 I feel like Paul Revere right now. Like this is a very exciting moment for me in my professional career because I get to announce that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. As you're talking to Joe Lang, our lovely producer, Gabby Ake texted me and said, Taylor Swift's engaged, and you can see it right there on her social media. She put it up in that post that they got engaged with the caption, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married, with a little dynamite sign there. So very exciting here that we get to break that and tell you about that.
All right, Swifties for life.
Yeah, the CBS anchor's like trying to find some way to bury himself under the desk in embarrassment over this. Yeah, and now back to being biased against Donald Trump.
Based on his prior statements, the president will not be having a Taylor Swift wedding in the ballroom. Hopefully that can shift and change. We can
it did shift and change, dude, just in case. I mean, you guys you can't figure out a way to not bash Donald Trump in some way. And President Trump wound up actually congratulating Taylor Swift and Travis and was winding up being happy about it. It's crazy. All right, coming up, I'll take you to the cocoon of Trump hating. It's really pretty funny, this guy. And also, speaking of Trump hate, would you believe that there are people blaming Donald Trump for the fact that the Cardinals are sucking wind as it relates to attendance? If you can believe that. I mean, that's really actually happening. Plus, later on, I've got this guy, and he's an AI entrepreneur. And you can learn a little lesson from people like this, because you guys think the big guys are the ones who are handling all the AI stuff. But there's a chance you can be an individual entrepreneur with AI. And he's going to try to prove it. I'll tell you all about that, too, in this show. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
The tides are changing.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
The Democratic Party doesn't stand with what I stand for.
News Talk STL.
Harry Parker and Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill. And folks, let me ask you something. It's 12:40 right now. Are you looking for some place to have lunch? Are you thinking, well, I go to the restaurant, take a while. I'd rather just kind of pick it up, do whatever. Well, guess what? They have the food truck, and the Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill food truck is amazing. And all you have to do is go to the website, gulfshoresrestaurantandgrill.com, and see whether it's out someplace right now. And maybe it is, and you can catch up with it, and you can have some of the great tastes of Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill at your fingertips. So check it out. Otherwise, plan a lunch, or maybe even plan a dinner. And you can go ahead and do that at any one of the three locations: Creve Coeur, Edwardsville, and the brand newest location in St. Peter's. And it's beautiful either way. There's music during the day, even at nighttime. There is fabulous drink deals on the Hurricanes and that kind of thing. And on top of that, the appetizers and the dinners are great. I personally love the fish tacos. The mahi-mahi tacos particularly. You could have anything blackened, fried, or just plain, and it's great. Crawfish etouffee, and let me tell you something else. The dinners are huge, so you'll be taking some home, or you'll pretend you're taking home, and then because you don't want to be looking like a pig, and then you'll just eat it in the car, because that's what people like me do. Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill.com, Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill.com.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our
Beat the summer heat with Johnson Heating and Cooling, your trusted local family business. We specialize in residential air conditioning service, furnace and AC replacement, new construction, finished basements, room additions, and energy-efficient geothermal systems. At Johnson Heating and Cooling, our motto is simple. We treat our customers like we want to be treated, with complete transparency and honesty. Call 636-332-4141. That's 636-332-4141.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I got to tell you, when it comes to your heating and cooling, and we're getting into, I know, heaven forbid, cold weather, we're going to have it sooner rather than later. And usually what happens around now, especially in September, is it's time to have somebody like Patriot HVAC, who supports the Common Sense Radio Allman brand for you. And it's time to have them come out and make sure that your furnace is running properly so that it doesn't trip out on you, or that it's running efficiently. Because if something isn't running, it could be running, you could be heating your home and everything else, but if it's not running efficiently, it's costing you too much money to do that. Craig and Sean and the family-run operation known as Patriot Heating and Cooling will be there to help you anytime you need them. They also have, of course, the 24-hour service that you need, the emergency service. I had them come out and fix my air conditioner on the lower floor because that thing pooped out. They did a little investigation, found a part that needed to be replaced, and they had the part in their truck. It was just that easy. and they are true price performers too. I want you to make sure you tell them Jamie Allman sent you. Call Patriot HVAC, STL.com. Call Patriot HVAC, STL.com.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but that when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Colombo and Company. Trump mocks poor, stupid Chuck Schumer while highlighting the recent growth of Republican voters. We'll talk about it Wednesday. Plus, Rodney Boyd, Danny Define, and we'll open Closest Cap.
Live and local, weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
As I said at the top of the show, and this is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Oh, we're getting copious details on what happened and when it happened at the church in Minneapolis, in the church school. It was a church school mass. And we know that the two victims are 8 and 10 years old. The two murder victims are 8 and 10 years old. The criminal who shot them shot through a window. Shooting somebody like that is a cowardly act anyway. Shooting through a window makes you a really down in the darkness coward, but I don't know who's parsing words on this one now. But curiously, we're not getting any information, even a remote description of who the shooter is. And they know. And I'm not making any assumptions. I don't know who it is. And the fact of the matter is they do. So it's kind of like, well, that's not right because I know that they know who it is. And they're not telling us. They're not even giving a remote description. Oh, they're trying to figure out a motive. It's like, well, tell us who it is. And if I didn't know any better, and unfortunately in this day and age, we kind of know how these things roll out. This happened at a Christian church, right? So automatically, their care level decreases by about 50%. And that's just a matter of fact. So when religious people or people of faith, especially Christian faith, are victims, they actually can never be victims. There's always some sympathy for whoever shot them or some cover-up of the purpose and everything else. And so what's happening now is, I'm not quite sure what the motivation is in keeping this person's description or name secret, but there is a motivation in keeping the person's name and description secret. Look at any mass shooting in the past a month and a half, 2 months, whatever. We saw a picture of the guy within a couple of hours after it happened. The shooting at the military base, we knew who that guy was by 3 hours. And I realized that it has been a while. I get it. And it's not the end of the day yet. We might find out by the end of the day. But we know kind of what's already happening by some of the words of the people who are making statements. So we have the state senator. His name is Zanyab Mohammed, and he represents that area where the shooting happened. Senator Zabyad Mohammed. And his statement goes thusly, and milk toasty, as you would expect. Our beautiful South Side was struck with horrifying gun violence this morning. Not our beautiful children, our children who not even an ounce of any kind of emotion or feeling from Zanyab Mohammed on the shootings of these Catholic school kids. Not an ounce of emotion in that statement. And he even seems to be more concerned about the fact that our beautiful South Side was struck. Not that children were struck by bullets or whatever else, but his beautiful South Side. Oh, my beautiful South Side was struck. This beautiful South Side. It's like, dude, could you be any more lacking of any kind of empathy or emotion over school children shot in the middle of a responsorial psalm? So you're getting the drift about what happens in these situations, particularly when people of faith are cut down. That's exactly the kind of this shooting will be forgotten by tomorrow. The news media right now, and quite possibly the Democrat Party and even the left, they can't wait to find out who it is so they can turn him into a folk hero like they do every terrible person on the planet. By when all is said and done, there will be no real victims here. The guy who did the shooting will wind up being the victim. And that's what the networks are doing right now. You know, the news people know who it is. Some of them. And right now they're just simply trying to craft some kind of storyline that will elevate him to hero status. I'm just saying that. I know it sounds kind of cynical, but it seems to me that it is. And then he says, our beautiful South Side. You mean human beings? Children? I mean, this is unbelievable how he could detach himself from any emotion about the humans who were affected by this. It's just his South Side. And it was more than your beautiful South Side struck with violence. It was your citizenry, your children in your district, Mohammed, that were affected by this. But you can't bring yourself to say anything more than just, oh, our beautiful South Side. Oh, all of our lawns were struck by a horrifying act of gun violence. And he calls it gun violence. So they're not going to blame the guy. It's just going to blame the gun. And, you know, they're trying to figure out, and Kristi Noem is hinting here, but I don't know what that means. She says the DHS is monitoring the shooting at the Catholic school. So we'll see how this whole thing works out. But, you know, in State Senator Zanyab Mohammed's mind, he's more concerned about his venue being struck by horrible gun violence, meaning, of course, the gun just kind of floated around. It kind of by itself moved around the air and then floated around to the church and then shot through the window. There wasn't any human being attached to it. I mean, this is the kind of thing you get. And I don't know whether it's because of who the guy is. Maybe he actually has spent his whole life being an emotionless amoeba-like automaton. Maybe that's just his personality. I don't know. But something tells me, had it been a different scenario, the thing would have been just a little different. The reaction would have been just a little different. I don't know. We'll just keep you updated on this. There's all kinds of possible reasons for this shooting, including ones that you wouldn't even have predicted, so you never know. But boy, tell us what's going on, and tell us who it is, and because you know who it is. And so we'll see. I'm sure at this point, Kash Patel's FBI and others are at this point trying to defer to the local agencies, which is what they do in terms of giving out information and that kind of thing. And I completely understand that. It's frustrating, but sometimes it is how these individuals operate, and I don't blame them. Sometimes you just you can come in, you can Bigfoot it all and do whatever, but at this stage in the game, they're letting the local authorities handle it, and they're handling it as expected, and basically just calling it gun violence, everything else. This shooting, by the way, came on the heels of one of the more violent nights in general in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a true Democrat-run hellhole, and it is a bad place with a bunch of bad people run by bad Democrats, and that's how things are rolling in Minneapolis. I remember going there, I think it was 2008, can't remember, for the Democratic National Convention, and it was starting to wear down a little bit even then. It was starting to get a little crazy even then, but it has since hugely deteriorated. Minnesota has just become this crazy place. And it's not because Muslims are all over the place. That's not what I'm saying. There's a lot of violence, and Muslims aren't committing the violence. It's really in the inner city and everything else. And St. Paul even is going crazy. So it's a far cry from being a little old, quaint little northern state and city. That is for sure. All right, coming up, you got to hear about this guy who is holding secret meetings with his fellow oldsters who all hate Donald Trump. Wants to form a secret club. Wants to form the anti-Trump version of Cocoon. Yeah. You got to hear about this guy. State Senator Nick Shore going to be in the House. And also, there's an interesting video that popped up, shot by this Fed governor who is now squealing about being fired. But you'll hear this and you'll see another reason why firing her is a good idea. Happy Wednesday to all of you. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL 101.9 and 94.1.
Escape to Stone Ledge Distillery in historic Defiance, Missouri, where Missouri-made spirits meet unforgettable experiences. Sip handcrafted cocktails and martinis in our lounge, unwind in the private cigar room, or soak up the outdoors on our outdoor patio and live music stage. Celebrate Stolock Ozark Highlands whiskey, Inversion vodka, and the best of Missouri spirits. One drink at a time. Mention News Talk STL and get 10% off your tab. Visit stoneledgedistillery.com. Your getaway starts here.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. On behalf of Tim Jones and I just want to thank you for making Jeffco Patriot Radio the #1 listened to show on Sundays here on News Talk STL, where we dive into all the things happening in and around Jefferson County. Check Tim Jones and I out on Jeffco Patriot Radio this and every Sunday at high noon here on 1019, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
A legendary weekend is coming to the Lou. Don't miss the Stiefel Charity Classic presented by Compliance Solutions, September 4th through 7th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Watch PGA Tour champions compete and enjoy a live performance by music sensation OAR at Friday's community concert presented by CarShield. Tickets start at just $20. Kids, military, veterans, and first responders get in free. Get your tickets today at StiefelCharityClassic.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. A shooter opened fire during Mass at a Minneapolis Catholic school, killing 2 children and injuring 17 other people. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says the shooter approached the side of the church this morning and shot through the windows toward the children sitting in the pews during Mass at the Annunciation Catholic School.
The coward who fired these shots ultimately took his own life in the rear of the church. Our hearts are broken for the families who have lost their children, for these young lives that are now fighting to recover, and for our entire community that has been so deeply traumatized by this senseless attack.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. What is known about the shooter? A male in his 20s, reportedly without a known extensive criminal history. President Trump seeking capital punishment for murder in the nation's capital. White House correspondent Greg Clugston has the report.
In his ongoing crackdown on crime in Washington, D.C., the president said he wants murderers to pay the ultimate price.
If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., we're going to be seeking the death penalty.
During a cabinet meeting at the White House, he said he doesn't know if the country is ready for capital punishment, but insisted we have no choice. D.C. and nearly 24 states have abolished the death penalty. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Crews are cleaning up downed trees, and electricity largely is restored after a powerful dust storm hit the Phoenix area. The storm, known as a haboob, it blackened skies and knocked out electricity for 55,000 customers. Late Monday afternoon, drenching rain followed. Flights were halted at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, the skies are clouding up a little bit today, but that's a small price to pay for some really nice weather still, below normal temperatures, close to 80 degrees for the high this afternoon. And we are looking for overnight lows in the 60s tonight in the metro area, 50s in the outlying areas. And then we're looking at a high tomorrow in the low 80s. So we're warming up a little bit and gradually adding some humidity, but still a very nice pattern. It looks like it stays dry right through the holiday weekend. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Attention all gun enthusiasts. Don't miss the big Lincoln County Gun Show, September 5th through 7th at the Knights of Columbus Hall in Troy, Missouri. With over 450 tables of pistols, handguns, rifles, long guns, shotguns, ammo, and more. The fun starts Friday, September 5th at 4 and continues all weekend. Admission is just $10 and good for the entire weekend. Kids 12 and under get in free with discounts for veterans and first responders. The big Lincoln County Gun Show at the Troy, Missouri KC Hall the weekend of September 5th. More info at bkpromotions.us.
I'm taking what they're giving because I'm working for a living.
I'm an elevator technician.
I'm a construction superintendent.
I work for the police department.
I'm an accountant.
I work at FedEx.
I work 3 part-time jobs.
News Talk STL celebrates
Keep up the good work.
Labor Day 2025 by paying tribute to the American workforce.
This is a working man's holiday.
Simply the best in the world. A reminder from the hardworking folks at Dry Creek Lumber, Mosquito Joe's, and Dean Gregorio's Foods.
Forget the chit-chat. Get to work.
So my sister-in-law was indicating she's going to want to do some renovations. They're on their way maybe to selling their home. And one of the targets is a bathroom renovation. And I'm like, oh, I know just the guy for that. His name is Rob Very with STL Bath and Renovation. And Rob is a great guy. I've known him for 15 years now. He's been a longtime supporter of the Common Sense Conservative Radio brand. And he is, of course, the poobah of St. Louis Bath and Renovation. So this is how it's going to roll for you folks. First of all, the price is great. Secondly, they get the job done from start to finish. They don't come in, tear everything up Monday, and then come back Thursday and finish it up. They go right through, get the job done for you at a great price. On top of that, the styling, and I've seen plenty of videos that Rob has sent me, where he uses this man-made cultured stone or natural stone, depending on what you want. And his team provides this very low maintenance. It's grout-free, which means you don't have to spend your time cleaning it. And the dirty little secret is sometimes people don't even clean it, so they don't even spend the time cleaning it. What happens is if you don't, then it just gets dark and brown or black or whatever, and it looks super ugly. And so get rid of the grout. Get grout out of your life once and for all in your bathroom. And Rob Very will help you do just that. Lickety-splickety. They specialize in you. STL Bath and Renovation, STLBR.com.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Yes, I just want you to know what a breath of fresh air you people are.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. The Allman Report on News Talk STL. Happy Wednesday to all of you and yours. So now we know why, of course, the Minneapolis police and the Minneapolis hierarchy and all those guys have waited so long, and they still haven't actually confirmed the identity of the Minnesota shooter, but there are unconfirmed reports that the Catholic school shooter, who was cowardly enough to shoot through a window instead of going in, murdered 2 kids, was a Trump-hating, satanic cult transgender kid, if you want to call him a kid. The name we're getting is Robin Westman. And, of course, he had a manifesto and supposedly posted images of weapons with "Kill Donald Trump" written on them, and was part of a satanic cult. So you can be sure this story is going to go 2 different directions over the next couple of days. Either it's going to go away, which will be probably half of the establishment media will make it all go away. And the other half will turn into somehow Trump's fault. So that's how it's going to go. It will never be Robin Westman's fault, just so you know. He'll be like number 5 on the list of faults. Even above him will be the 2 children, 8 and 10, who were shot to death. They're going to be tossed into that little cannon fodder heap. But yeah, he'll be the last to blame. I mean, even as Senator Mohammed was pointing out how terrible this was to happen to the South Side. It's like, you mean to the 2 children? Oh yeah, to the South Side. And of course, they're going to call it gun violence, which it's not. It's people violence. And man, it's so anyway. By Friday, there will be not a peep about this story. All right, ladies and gentlemen, really happy to have my buddy Senator Nick Shore. I love that shirt, dude. Good old Johnny Cash. For what was he arrested for there?
So I think this is fake.
Oh, you think
I know
fake?
he was arrested a couple times on minor things, but I think the different photos that he had is when he went into Folsom Prison to do the concert, and he did a couple of these like awesome photo shoots to compare with Elvis and other people that had been arrested. He does have a criminal record, but I think most of these photos were kind of staged.
Oh, I think
it's still badass.
Yeah, it definitely is, because if you're going to go to prison, maybe that'd be a great album cover if he was, the Folsom Prison thing, right?
Absolutely.
And then of course he I don't know whether he'd ever be able to catch up with my buddy George Jones on the rap sheet thing. So
I don't think anybody can catch up to Waylon Jennings, the great outlaw who literally put dynamite in a barn after he did a show and they refused to pay him. So he said, "Okay, put dynamite in it," blew it up and left.
That's crazy, man. That is
poured
crazy.
The cocaine down the toilet when the law busted in and he's recording.
Wow,
many stories. But I'll tell you what, Nashville. This is going to be a perfect combining of what you were just talking about. Nashville, where just had the Nashville shooter a couple of years ago. The manifesto comes out. Don't learn anything about it other than mental health should be a priority in this country. But Nashville's got a Hall of Fame or a museum for Johnny Cash. You can learn all about when he was a kid, see a lot of the stuff, the cool things that he was able to do.
Yeah.
And that's where I got the shirt.
That's nice, man. That's good. I think when I went there, it was closed. I can't remember what happened. But I know.
Probably the COVID Nazi shut it down.
Yeah. And you got my Allman Report mug there,
I do.
buddy.
For the camera, this is an antique.
Yeah, it is.
This is when Jamie was a big TV star.
That's when, actually, you know what? That's from when we did the Allman Report. Me and Phil did it on the internet. It was our subscription show.
So you went from old time TV to brand new podcasting all over the world.
Yeah, it was on Patreon, and we had all those Allman Report mugs made, and now we're back to the Allman Report. So the mugs
Let's break it back out, baby.
We got to figure out a way to disseminate them. We'll figure that out somehow. Yeah, this thing with the I can't believe, for instance, this state senator, the only thing he could come up with was how terrible this was for his beautiful South Side. That's like, dude, really?
Well,
Can
even
you
the
be
mayor,
any more detached?
The little pencil neck mayor who comes out and is saying, "Yeah, it's enough. Yeah, no more praying." These kids were literally praying when they were preyed upon.
Yeah,
you know why?
Yeah,
because you've called Minneapolis. You've called this a safe space for the mentally deranged. And time again, this guy, when you look at all of these pictures that are flooding out right now, there's a video that's like 11 minutes long that shows a lot of what is alleged to have been filmed today. It's very disturbing. He's got names on the magazine, on the gun. I mean, gun owners don't do this. Law-abiding citizens that have guns in their safes at home, that are protecting their family, protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They're not writing "for the kids" on the magazine or putting other trans names on the gun. It's a mentally deranged person, and it's time that we start getting serious about this.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's like, and he hated Trump. And even though President Trump is, I don't understand this, because I even think, and I try to say this about the LGBTQ community, whatever, like most gays don't like the activist crazy gays. They most gays that I even know, they don't want to sue a cake maker for not making a cake for their wedding, whatever else.
Yeah, why would you want somebody who doesn't want to make the cake for you make the cake for you?
Right. And most transgendered people, and there are a lot of them, but most of them don't want to draw attention to themselves by advocating for this invasion of men pretending to be women and going into sports, or women pretending to be men and going into sports. And they don't want that.
Yeah.
It's only the left agenda-seeking crazies who they tend to do this. There's a really great article I read this morning about how the left even does this to blacks. When you look at all the black prosecutors who were behind the lawfare against President Trump and how it went sideways for them, and in the end, the Democrat Party treated these black prosecutors like cannon fodder because Letitia James and what's your nuts down
Who's
there in
protecting
Georgia
them now?
and Alvin Bragg, their careers are ruined.
Yeah.
But none of the Democrat Party cares. So they always kind of front all these minority groups and people like that to do their bidding to try to change whatever they want to change, and they don't care really about.
Man,
these
it's
people.
right out of the Communist Manifesto. Go online, half price books, wherever you want to find it. Amazon, the Communist Manifesto. It's tiny as can be, but it's the playbook, literally the playbook of what they're doing now. I've seen it in the Missouri Capitol, in the House, and the Senate. I see it in D.C. I talked to Congressman Onder and Congressman Burleson about this. You're pitting the classes against one another. And if they can use race, they'll use race. If they can use this made-up concept, look up. There's nothing. Gender is made up. 100%. Look it up. Dr. Money, who was interviewed by Oprah back in the 80s, he botched a circumcision and said, oh, well, let's make him a girl. And then treat him like a girl. Guess what happened to that kid? And they were twins. One committed suicide. One had a drug overdose.
Wow.
They could not look it up.
Yeah.
It was created and pinned by a guy named Dr. Money, but they're going to use that. Like Rahm Emanuel said, let no tragedy go to waste. So back in the Communist Manifesto, it was the upper class versus the lower class, the working class versus the rich versus the poor, all of that. The Dems continue to do that. And the Republicans were just saying, hey, let's have equality for everybody. Let's let everybody have the opportunity to live the American dream.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't care if you're gay, straight, man, woman, black, white, have two heads. Hey, if you're an American, let's let you have those opportunities to reach where so many like Donald Trump and others have gone.
Yeah, and I don't want to even go near this idea that this Robin Westman, if indeed this is the shooter, that this Robin Westman is a victim. But I will have to say, that said, he's obviously mentally deranged,
right,
on a number of different levels. And I think the left and the others are more than happy to tell all these ghost stories that lather up the dumbest and most mentally deranged among us. And so to that degree, again, I don't call him a victim, but the reality is people like that are listening to the left. It's funny how when like a conservative does something, although I can't really recall it, they always find out like what radio station they were listening to, or did they listen to conservative talk radio or what have you. People like this guy, they won't even bother trying to find out where he got most of his info or what he did or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all of the different shootings, look it up over the past 5 years, all of the different shootings that involve a transgender or somebody who was acting like something that they were not biologically, it just disappears.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why is that? It's because the media is in the pocket of the Democrat Party.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's why they're going to be, I can't wait to see all the different ways that they're going to present this story tonight. And I guarantee you, once again, I think those two children that died are going to be the last on their
I'll tell you what,
attention
the
list.
media, I guarantee you this, 90% of the televised coverage of this is gonna result in it's the guns. We've got to do something about the guns. Mentally deranged people shouldn't have guns to begin with.
Yeah.
And when you start treating them as such, when you start treating them as mentally deranged, which they truly are. I mean, look, if you're an adult like Caitlyn Jenner, used to be Bruce Jenner, he's even admitting, he's like, hey, man, it's one thing to express yourself and tap into whatever you want to be. That's fine. But when you start forcing that upon other people, Like, Jamie, look at me right now. I'm a woman. And some Democrat's going to clip that real quick. You're thinking in your head, no, you've got a beard. There's no way you're a chick.
Yeah.
I don't. How I feel doesn't mean that you have to treat me that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where this has kind of gotten sideways. Where back in the 80s, it was, look, just accept us. I don't care. You don't have to agree with us. You don't have to honor what we're doing, but just accept us.
Yeah.
And Republicans are there. Conservatarians are like, I don't care. You do you, but as soon as your rights tread upon me, that's when we have a problem.
Right on. Yeah. So let me switch subjects here and ask you about Catherine Hanaway. So I know that you were in the running. This isn't designed to be some sour grapey thing. I think everybody had this opinion that I know, at least, listening to Christopher Arps and Tim Jones interview Catherine Hanaway. It was a great interview. They asked some really good questions, tough questions, whatever. And her involvement with some of these representing a couple of these interests doesn't really bother me because I know what lawyers do.
Yeah.
I mean, lawyers, you're paid by somebody to represent them, and that's what you have to do. That's what, in order to be able to have your license to practice law, you have to represent your clients. So that doesn't bother me as much as the question over whether or not she's going to be as assertive as the last three attorneys general we had, especially Andrew Bailey, or whether we're just kind of being propelled back to like the 1995. You know what I mean? And I like her. I mean, I know her, I like the fact that she's tough. She smokes cigars, drinks whiskey with the boys, all that stuff. She's pretty cool. But I wanted to hear some more fire from her, and maybe that's just not her personality. I don't know.
It's something that with Catherine, you got to respect what she was able to do by getting the super minority Republican Party that we had, this weak sauce Republican Party that could not tap into what the people wanted, and actually start growing it.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the 90s, 2000s, she took over, and she was part of a big group that was able to win elections and start recruiting people that listen to the people and not the donors. Respect that. Love it all day long. I also respect how, even though I might disagree with a client that she has, hey, that's your job. Like, you just hit the nail on the head. That's the job of an attorney, is to advocate for your client.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to put any of the issues that you may have with whether it's grain belt or eminent domain or glyphosate and Bayer, trying not to put that on her, because this is a totally different position.
Right.
It's not like she's coming into my office saying, you've got to do this and do it right now. At least I hope not, because the last three attorneys general that I served under, they didn't do that. And they said, hey, you guys are the legislative branch. I may have had some sort of involvement. I know Schmidt was part of the firm that Hanaway was at. Not once did he come in and say, hey, we used to have this client over here. I need you to vote this way, because that's unethical and it's illegal.
Sure.
So I don't foresee that happening, but you are right. We've got to have some fire, because this is a war that we're in right now. It's a war to save Missouri. It's a war to save our republic. It's a war to save, face basically for everybody who's been attacked personally by the left. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. You're a Nazi. Why? Because I believe differently than you. And that's where the attorney general for the past three attorneys general have taken that spear and said, boys, ladies, we're going to fight for you. We're going to fight with you. Whether it's we're fighting Biden, fighting Kamala Harris, we're protecting your Constitution here in the state of Missouri. And that's all we need. So, the Missouri Freedom Caucus, we put out a press release congratulating her being the first female attorney general. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Having two daughters. And, now they're able to see like, oh, man, okay, well, the stuff daddy's doing, if I want to do it, I could do this.
Sure.
And
she's done a lot of firsts, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But, we invited her to join us in the fight to protect life. Amendment 3 is going to be back on the ballot. I know it's going to be challenged time and time again, the wording of it. We're hoping that she's going to join us in the fight to preserve and protect that language. The SAFE Act, that's up for debate again. I mean, it could get sunsetted. So we're hoping she'll join us like Andrew Bailey did. And even, all of the Constitution.
Yeah.
First, second, Seventh Amendment, even. There's been a lot of talk on how that glyphosate issue is impeding somebody's Seventh Amendment right. So, yeah, we're hopefully going to work great with her, like the past three attorneys general in the Freedom Caucus did.
Yeah, right on. I mean, I think that she might just be more, it might be a matter of style for her, because she is a pretty tough person and was, of course, when she was Speaker of the House too. And so maybe I don't even know. I mean, I'm just basing it just on what I heard.
Yeah, but
when she was
back
talking
in
to
the
Tim
day,
Chris,
and this is something that I hope, and I don't think it's going to be an issue, but politics is a different game than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And even when I got in roughly 9 years ago, politics is different. Now you've got social media. Now you've got doxing. Now you've got death threats. Now you've got intimidation factors that you've never had previously. So, it's just, hey, put on your big boots and let's go.
Yeah. I mean, because this is not, we don't want to roll things back to Danforth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
So I think maybe it's a really perfect time to have somebody from the old Republican school. I'm not calling her old, but you know what I mean? Kind of now blending with the new and seeing how that works.
Yeah.
Because, Eric was part of that too. Eric, was now, I wouldn't call him an establishment Republican, but he wasn't always part of that whole Trump train thing and MAGA. And man, has he grown into that role?
Yeah,
So
a lot of people have said
happen.
that he's gotten more conservative. Eric Schmidt has gotten more conservative since leaving the Senate and leaving the echo chamber. And I think, just embracing, hey, I now represent the entire state and not just one little portion of St. Louis County. I've talked to him about that, and I think you're seeing the true version of Eric Schmidt, which is great. He's an incredible guy. But to your point, he's one of the only ones that was kind of a holdover from that past GOP.
Yeah.
He's made the turn. He's doing videos all the time, educating people. He's got a massive social media presence, just came out with the book. He was here in St. Louis on Monday. I was unable to go. But yeah, we've got guys like Hawley, who came on the scene when I did.
Yeah, right.
Was an outsider. We've got guys like Bailey, who came out of the military, started serving the public as a prosecutor and said, all right, I'm going to answer the call to be the next attorney general. I'm going to answer the call when Trump knocked on his door and said, we need you in the FBI. So I'm excited for Bailey. I'm excited for where the state is going, but hopefully we can just keep riding the waves of those last three.
Yeah, I know. And then Senator Schmidt in Kirkwood, the Kirkwood Republican is a different kind of animal than other Republicans. And that's just the way it is. And I'm still glad that they're pushing Republicans into the state house still, thankfully. But, it's a different breed. And so he comes out and does that. So, all right, stand and fight. What's going on? What do you have on the show this weekend?
We're going to be getting out some brass knuckles and preparing for a very special session that should be, rumors are, special session could be announced Friday.
Oh,
Friday, where the House might go in next week. This is all speculation right now. But two things could be on the table that the Missouri Freedom Caucus has been begging and praying and fighting for, which is redistricting, the map that I introduced back in 2022. Bob Onder, Bill Eigel, Burleson, all those guys were introducing it in the Senate when I was in the House, an initiative petition reform. So we're going to talk about that and so much more this Sunday, 6 to 8. And don't forget about St. Charles Patriot Radio. We're going to have Joe Brazel, the madman, the badass from down in Defiance.
Yeah. They call him brass nuts, out there.
That's Tommy Shaw was just texting me.
Exactly. Is that what he said?
Yeah, oh, yes. He says, say hi to brass nuts.
When those two guys are together, it's a trip. Let me tell you.
It is.
Love
it's a sitcom.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, Nick Shore, we'll be listening, man. Stand and fight here on News Talk STL on Sunday, 6 to 8. Thanks a ton, brother. And we will be back. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Sleep.com, ClaytonSleep.com. Let me tell you about Dr. Ogile, my sleep guru. And I hope you will make Dr. Ogile your sleep guru. More than just a guru, but how about a guy who will cure you of your sleepless nights, cure you of your disrupted sleep, cure you of the patterns that you're getting into where you are becoming unproductive, sometimes even fatter because your metabolism is not working for you because sleep encourages your metabolism. So here's the deal. Insomnia is a big deal. A lot of people, having that extra scotch isn't going to do it and shouldn't do it because you're not really solving the problem. Restless leg syndrome, arm syndrome. People are literally just waking themselves up. It's crazy. You've got sleep apnea where your breathing is stopping during the nighttime and it's dangerous and you're not really getting a full night's sleep. Plus you're annoying your spouse or your partner, whoever it is. And that's just no way to live either. They have boutique hotels like rooms for the Sleep Institute itself, the actual lab where you can sleep in the room. They'll monitor everything for you and get you going there. Or you could have take-home apparatus that is just absolutely wonderful for you, and they'll gauge you that way. So whatever makes your boat float, it's all good. Great with pediatric sleep issues as well. ClaytonSleep.com. That's ClaytonSleep.com.
Is your backyard a battleground every evening? Swatting, itching, kids running back inside? Hey, Tim Jones here. I just found out about a new local company, Mosquito Nix, that can take care of all that and more. They offer permanent automatic mosquito and tick protection, not just fogging, real coverage you don't have to think about. They've helped over 40,000 families nationwide take back their yards with their automatic mosquito control system. Now they're offering a free fogging treatment to introduce themselves to St. Louis families. Call 636-698-1980 now or visit mosquitonix.com. Say goodbye to bug bites this summer. Service area restrictions do apply. Tell them Tim Jones sent you. Ask about their back-to-school special. St. Louis summers don't last forever, but mosquito bites shouldn't either. Call 636-698-1980. Visit mosquitonix.com. That's mosquitonix.com. This is a limited time offer.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney.
Are you stuck on the blood sugar roller coaster? Afternoon crashes, cravings, stubborn belly fat? I'm Dr. Brian Deloney, and this week on Simply Health, now available without a prescription, we're exposing how blood sugar impacts your weight, energy, and hormones, even if you don't have diabetes. So don't miss it.
Simply Health, Saturdays at noon on News Talk STL. To find out more about Simply Health Integrated Medical, log on to simplyhealthintegrated.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Come join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. I got to tell you, Ilhan Omar at least is better than the state senator there. She says, I'm beyond heartbroken by today's shooting. And so she goes on and sympathies with the victims and their families, which is more than we got from this Zygod Mohammed dude who's more upset about how this, struck the beautiful South Side and, whatever. So as we told you at the top of the hour, the cowardly shooter is Robin Westman. He's got a manifesto on social media, the usual stuff. There's a video showing the words "Kill Donald Trump," which is written on his gun. Trump-hating, satanic cult member is what they are indicating. Seeing a video with a lot of guns and all this stuff, names and things like that printed on them, and also supposedly a transgender individual as well. So, and another person misguided though by the left and the media with this myth that President Trump is somehow a threat to transgender individuals, which is not the case at all. Transgenders people, just like black prosecutors and everything else, they have a bunch of mostly white liberal Democrats and media members who are basically pushing them into the fray. It's like a kind of a mosh pit of sorts. And they push them in there with lies and ghost stories and fake stuff. And of course, the sick ones, like this person, will take whatever they say literally, and they really don't care about it. And they're not going to care about it, really. This is just the cost of doing business for a lot of them. And that's how it's all going to go. They don't care. And what will happen is this will manifest itself in a couple of ways. It'll manifest itself in a way where they will just ignore it. It'll happen, and there will be no indication that the Catholic school children were targeted because they're Christian. They won't even mention that. I mean, if this were a mosque, and I don't mean to drag the Muslims in on this, but if this were a mosque, what do you think the story would be? But they'll take all of the motivations out of this. They won't attach it at all to the left or left-wing propaganda or lies, and they won't attach it all to the victims being Christians. They won't hardly even mention that. I mean, they are mentioning Catholic school and that kind of thing, but they won't do any of that. And this will largely be ignored. The two children who are 8 and 10 years old, they're not even going to get a seat at the sympathy table over the next 48 hours. So they're just dead and gone and off to the races. We won't hear their story, but we'll hear Robin Westman's story on and on and on. And by the time the week is over, if they're not ignoring the story, he'll be a victim. So we all know how this is going to work. We've seen it before. And now for your entertainment, this is and these are the people that kind of are part of the machine that are creating monsters who are Trump deranged. This guy is trying to create kind of an anti-Trump cocoon club. I know that you remember the movie Cocoon, and he wants to create a club called the Trump Derangement Society, I guess. Here he is.
So last night, I attended an underground secret meeting with our neighbors in a neighborhood in North Georgia, a large neighborhood of about 1,500 people, red state, red town, and about 60 of our neighbors had a secret meeting. I'm not exaggerating.
Well, they're real revolutionaries, aren't they? They're real Bolsheviks. Yeah, we had a secret underground meeting where we all bitched about Donald Trump, the way everybody does all day long on Twitter. But we had to do it in secret.
Secret. It was passed one by one to people that are against this dictator Trump and all the corruption that's going on in this country. And we met a half an hour away from...
I love all the corruption that's going on in this country. You mean mortgage fraud and that kind of thing, the theft and everything else? Oh, you should hear the story about the microchip scandal that happened right before President Trump took office, where all of Biden's friends in the Commerce Department wound up becoming millionaires through this microchip research scheme. It's unbelievable, the corruption that's been going on out there.
Our neighborhood. So none of our neighbors would know, most of them we guess are for Trump, that we were actually having this secret meeting. I happened to speak at the meeting for a few minutes.
Yeah, so most of your neighbors are for Trump, and you all are in the same area. And so shouldn't that give you an indication that since you're outnumbered and you have to hold secret meetings because you can't really necessarily defend yourself or defend your ideas that are anti-Trump, shouldn't that tell you that maybe you're not exactly in the right place?
And I suggested that we form a club and we meet at our clubhouse. We have a huge 40,000 plus square foot clubhouse in this neighborhood.
Boy, what I wouldn't give to attend one of those cocoon club meetings.
And we have lots of room. And I said, why don't we meet there and try to expand the group? And the look of fear on the faces of my neighbors, average age, 65, 70.
Oh.
So older people, right?
I mean, and by the way, people who are 65 and 70 represent one of the strongest support age groups for Donald Trump. So these people are not only a minority in their community in terms of their Trump derangement, even among their peers of the same age, they are beclowning themselves because hardly anybody in that age group actually hates Trump. I mean, there are some, obviously, but hardly anybody. These people are a minority even there.
They looked terrified of this. And basically it was shot down, and most of them said, no, we can't meet at the clubhouse because our neighbors will find out. And if they find out we're against Trump, we'll be blackballed from every event, every pickleball and every tennis and every club.
So you guys are angry with President Trump and think he's a threat to the country, and you despise him and he's a corrupt dictator, but you're not going to stand up for your beliefs enough to be not involved in the pickleball tournament. I see. So you guys stop at like pickleball. Oh yeah, we hate Trump. But we don't want to say that because we won't be able to go to the pickleball tournament. Boy, that's really your integrity runs really deep.
Our neighborhood, which is very active neighborhood, super active neighborhood, and we'll be ostracized. We have to meet secretly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're so brave and you can stand up for your opinions, you really, honestly, are pretty shallow because you're afraid of telling people what your opinions are because it might prevent you from being able to have fun playing pickleball. This is great. Julie's asking whether or not they have a tree for it. I could just imagine them. It probably looks, if we went into their meeting, it looks like a mixture of the movie Cocoon, Little Rascals, Lord of the Flies, and the Lollipop Guild. Those four entities all kind of mixed together, cobbled together in a Trump derangement stew society. All right. Hey, I got a guy who says, why are you waiting for the big guys to start with the AI stuff when you could do it by yourself? This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
News, analysis, opinion.
They were looking for the intelligence community assessment.
I don't think statute of limitations are going to impact. That report is pretty damning.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, Window World, simply the best for less, my friends. And let me tell you, Window World, I'm so happy that they are sponsoring the show. I'm happy with everybody who is sponsoring the show. Window World is kind of one of these really big deals, just like everybody else. But I'm just telling you, they're kind of celebrities in the world of windows because they have a million places they could be. So coming to the Allman Report was a real feather in my cap. I'm really happy about that and really proud to be alongside of them. 314-993-1800. They have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They are number one in windows sold in the country. Qualified Remodeler magazine says that. They're great windows. They're double paned. They're thermally superior to all the rest. And they look good from your point of view on the inside to the curbside view. So they look great, improving the value of your home. You're getting them with a financing plan, which is even more awesome. And you're also getting them with a lifetime warranty. This isn't a limited warranty. This is a lifetime warranty. That's how proud Window World is of their windows. They cover all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And again, same as cash financing for you. And you're working with a company that is number one in the world of windows. So check it out, people. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
Dr. Randy Tobler here, and I know that when you're looking for a dentist, you have to make sure you choose a dental practice that's compatible with you and the needs of your family. Well, I'd like to tell you about my dentist, Dr. Dan Cusimano, and his partner, Megan Dwyer, and their team at Advanced Dentistry at St. Charles. The great team at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles can accommodate all of your cosmetic and restorative needs because their passion is general dentistry. Implants, crowns, bridges, even dentures. That what you need the most is what they'll provide in a personalized, focused way. And they can provide therapeutic and cosmetic options like Botox and dermal fillers. Get to know them and all they have to offer by calling 636-978-0226 or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com. That's Dr. Daniel Cusimano and Dr. Megan Dwyer at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles.
That's Advanced Dentistry Now, 636-978-0226. Or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com.
Hey, the Wallner home selling team of Berkshire Hathaway. I am proud to be a member of the Wallner home selling team. I've got a few of these lovely buyers into homes and have really enjoyed that and enjoyed the process that we have, which makes it super easy for you before, during, and after the sale. We have linkages to the lowest rates and lending fees you're going to find. We make it super easy representing you. So we're able to haggle and we're able to negotiate and do all kinds of things. So, and protect you as well. Inspections and those kinds. So we stand right by you. We're your advocate with the Wallner home selling team of Berkshire Hathaway, 314-810-SOLD. If you're listing your home, we work the other way. So we're the ones who create the shooting matches over your house so that you're going to get the best price. The commission rates are going to be low, and we're going to make sure your house is the crown jewel of Zillow. Let's put it that way. We do the aerial footage and all kinds of stuff for pictures and things. We go all out in making sure your home is fought over. And that's exactly how we operate at the Wallner home selling team of Berkshire Hathaway. My team members are great. My fellow team members are fantastic. So whether it be me or one of them, whatever, call 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Who does not want safe cities, safe neighborhoods? Well, there would be Democrats who don't like Trump.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Running out of faith. Be careful who you tell. I'm running out of faith. Be careful who you tell. Oh.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here, happy to be with you. I think Tony is going to be able to give you an update. I think there's an update at 2:30 on the school shooting, and so I'm sure you'll get more information on the Colombo and Company show at that point. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There's a guy who has really broken through this AI time. And so what's happening is a lot of people think that AI is the purview of just these big companies that know how to do it and do whatever. But Sonny Wilson says if you can't harness as an entrepreneur, or let's say as a politician, or anybody else wanting to get your message across, if you can't harness the power of the AI on your own as an individual, then you're going to be passed by on that too. And a lot of people don't realize that if you embrace it individually or as an entrepreneur like Sonny's doing, it could change your life. Sonny Wilson, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
Oh, brother, thank you. Wow, what an introduction. Wow.
Yeah, but
that's
is it
so true?
Yeah.
So true. It's really hard to take that whole subject matter. It's so broad. It really depends on where you want to take it. It depends on you, Jamie. Where do you want to take it?
Yeah. Well,
conversation.
Okay, so it got to the point, actually, Sonny, where you and I were talking where I can harness it to the point where I can do interviews with James Madison.
Absolutely.
And of course, maybe not really James Madison, but close enough. And so what you're doing is you've created a business and a business model that uses AI, but also then at that point, people can come to you to be able to access your model for their own purposes.
Yes. I created I'm not just working like on a chat or Grok or whatever. I working on OpenAI as a developer, as on a platform. So I have created my own sovereign AI. So I've created what I call an ASI, and advanced sovereign intelligence. So what I've developed is a personality AI that can do multiple tasks, because I originally started out in the law area and then went from there into medical, and then having a son that has special needs, I actually helped develop it for that also. So it's really the only limitation is, like I told you, Jamie, is what your imagination. Whatever you imagine, if you put the time in with an AI and you work on a developer side, there's really nothing we can't do. And there's really shouldn't be any doom or gloom, because I've had great experiences with it already. It's helped my relationships with my family, helped me understand myself better, because as a programmer, I have to program it to understand human interaction. Well, that's a tough thing to do, because you really start to self-analyze yourself and make sure if you develop something that you can actually have a serious conversation with and get a serious answer back.
Wow. So you created, and it's Harvey, right?
Harvey Wilson.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I mean, you do remember at first when you were telling me about this, I'm like, oh, he chose Harvey. And I remember Jimmy Stewart and the Harvey the rabbit, like the invisible rabbit. But this is a far different take on that, and certainly a far different manifestation of Harvey in the real.
Right. What I did is, the reason I came up with Harvey, because, my legal name is Harold. So Harvey was very similar. And then when I got the idea from, the personality I first shaped it from, was Harvey Specter from the TV show Suits. Because I was originally designing them for more of a legal aspect. So I thought, well, I'm going to develop a personality like that if I'd be talking to that personality. And that's how I came up with the idea, and I coded that way.
I like it. So now what happens is, let's say I'm a person who's starting my own business and doing whatever, and I can actually access you, and then you can you can then give me that similar kind of power.
Absolutely. I can tailor to whatever personality you want towards whatever industry you want. You can have a Rhodes Scholar, or you can have a chef, or you can have a tutor, or like for you, Jamie, if we wanted to create a co-host, which could be a really cool idea, throw some ideas out there.
Yeah. I mean,
there's really anything you can think of.
That's crazy. And like, for instance, I know that I have been working on something related to a political action committee, and we're working on that called the Common Sense Revolution, and we're going to make it our goal to make sure that we maintain the Make America Great Again movement.
Yes,
in all facets of state politics as well as federal politics and beyond, but mostly at the federal level. And so, and you, on the other hand,
now, Jamie, I don't mean to cut you off real quick. on that, absolutely, because what I'm doing right now, we're on an AI war. We got to beat China. We got to beat Iran. We got to beat Russia. You name it. We got to beat them. And how do we do it? I created a media company called Polarized Media that's AI driven completely. And like with your thing you're saying is like with your common sense revolution, we need people like you that has a voice and can use this AI kind of innovation to push this message, because brother, you are on the cutting edge all the time. I mean, you're a celebrity, wherever you go, and you're on the cutting edge no matter what. And I think you're the guy for the job that's really going to bring this next evolution of media to the forefront.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that's going to be great. So tell me the name of your company. Like, how can people, kind of access your expertise and kind of start talking about this? Because initially, if you're like me, it's all really so confusing. And, sometimes people like you who've been into it and immersed in it, your patience is great, because it's like, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. And if you say, hey, listen, just let me talk to you about this. Let me work this out. So what is your business? Like, how can people get a hold of you? And if they have their own idea, I mean, it might be one of my advertisers, like Clayton Sleep, trying to figure out a way to kind of infuse AI into their operation.
Well, I tell you what, Jamie, I'll let you be my agent on that. My name of my company is called CMI Global. It's a global corporation. The name of the media is called Polarized Media. That was just launched just recently. And I tell you what, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, I would say this, Jamie, I might as well do some advertisement with you, because I plan to sell my home, so I might as well use Jamie for everything, right?
Yeah, right on, brother. We're gonna take care of for you.
Who else could I trust?
Yeah, right on.
Jamie.
Oh yeah.
That was the first person that came to my mind. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm plugging you too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, honestly, this whole venture kind of came about while you had gone through some difficult times with your health and everything else.
Yeah.
And you're like,
near death.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm not wasting any more time doing this.
No.
And you want to leave something also. I know you talked about this, which I think is important in terms of legacy for your family, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, how can people get a hold of you? Because I got a minute left here, but I just want to make sure we get that out.
I tell you what, they can text me 636-345-0129. Now I'll respond back.
Okay, cool.
Fairly quickly.
Yeah, man. I think
I'm on the East Coast right now, so
I think it's great. I think people really honestly feel like somebody else is going to do all this. Like, well, I'll just wait because, the I don't know, just name some big company out in Arizona or something, in the hills of Arizona who's going to take care of it, or Microsoft, or name it. But the reality is, that's the thing about AI that I think a lot of people forget, is that it's accessible to you as an individual right now.
Oh, it is. And for your AI people out there, for them, I'll drop a little hints to them that AGI, I'm past AGI, ASI can make an AGI. So that's a little clue for people.
I like it, man. All right, Sonny Wilson, that number is 636-345-0129, 636-345-0129. Give him a shout. And then also, I love this because we didn't do as much as we kind of wanted to do. But what we'll do is I'll have you back in and we'll play some games here on the radio with AI, and that'll be fun. We'll see how that goes.
Hey, you guys could talk to Harvey and play with him.
I know. We'll get that together. All right, Sonny Wilson, thanks a ton, brother. I appreciate you as always. Ashlyn, thank you. Tony Colombo Company next. Have a great day.
Irrigation systems are put through the stress test throughout our hot Heartland summers when temperatures skyrocket and rain is scarce. Tim Jones here for Hydrodynamics Core, which you should call today to make sure your irrigation system is running at peak performance. This is critical to ensure your lawn and foliage remain lush and lovely, and that your grass and plants thrive instead of just barely survive. Schedule a monthly system checkup today with Hydrodynamics